What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Grand Race meta. This is the update for Season 8. Let's go. All right, before we get into this one, if you want to see some of my videos early, you can become a member of the channel. Just click join down below and become a member, and you get access to a bunch of my videos early. Not every single video, not the news videos, because those are, made and then published right away. But the videos that I have prepared for the following morning, such as this one, you could have had access to it like 8 hours ago. Anyways, let's get into it, man. This video is not meant to be super long. We're gonna go through each of the categories, starting with Street 1. And Street 1 actually has the most number of changes. So at the very top, the number one best car is still the Porsche 911 RS 2.7. It is a car that is just so dominant in basically all aspects. There are a few little scenarios where some cars would be more advantageous to use, and that's the special use BMW M3 and the Mach-E. The BMW M3 is sort of a niche car. It really handles a little bit weird, and you can use it for like city sections where top speed is not necessarily really that relevant for that section, but low speed acceleration is also not going to be super important. So it's sort of that like middle ground where the car keeps up a good pace. It's got good acceleration. It's got good NOS power. It handles really well. It's got good oversteering. I think a lot of the people that play maybe won't gravitate towards this car because it does oversteer so much. And I think the more input you give it, the more likely you are to spin the car. So I feel like it's not going to be a car for everyone, but it is a very special use car and it's extremely fast. It's better than the 911 in some scenarios, not very many, but some you can use it. The Mach-E is really good for starts. If you have a Street 1 start that's fairly technical, it is a perfect car for that. It allows you to get away from the chaos early because of its acceleration. And then if it's a technical route, you are constantly accelerating away from people. And so it helps you break slipstream and things like that. So those are the top cars. You have the 911 2.7, the M3, the brand new M3, the Mach-E. Now there are a bunch of viable cars here that I'll put on screen, including a car that I moved down from special use into the viable category, which is the Audi RS2. And then I've got the Mini GP Works, which got added brand new as of, I think, Season 7. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't on my list last time, so I wanted to update it and put it on there. The GP Works Mini is actually really good, but it just has this slight understeer problem, and it's not quite powerful enough to keep up with everything. So there's your picture for Street 1. Let's move on to Street 2. At the top of Street 2, you have the F50 and the GTO. Both of these cars are almost interchangeable, but there is a slight difference between them. The F50 actually handles slightly better. It's got a better lateral G. It can handle corners a little bit better. The GTO understeers slightly compared to it, but the power of the GTO and the NOS power of the GTO makes up for it. So if you have two drivers of equal skill and one's in a F50 and one's in a GTO, the route will determine who's going to win that race. It is going to be almost equal. So choose which one you like using the best. As far as the special use cars, we really have two options. You have the Taycan or the Thunder Edition Taycan, and then the Hurricane. The Taycan obviously is the electric car. It's got good acceleration. It's for tight technical routes. It's for gutter routes. It is very good for Street 2 starts where it's really technical, almost identical to the Mach-E. Where you have a Street 2 technical route, that's when you want to use it. The Hurricane is all highways. It's got the best top speed in the class. It actually handles okay, so you don't have to worry about it too much on those small highway turns that you have. A lot of the highways are pretty straight, but they've got like maybe one turn it or two turns where you have to keep up speed, otherwise you'll lose the pack. The Hurricane, you don't have to worry about it. It's got a very, very good top speed, the best in the class, and it handles those okay. And then finally, we have a new addition to the viable category, which is the 911 Turbo 3.6. This car might need to be moved from viable to special use, or potentially it could compete with the meta. It is a very good car. It is definitely better than most of the other Street 2 cars, so I put it at the top of that viable category for that reason. However, it comes with a price. It's much like the Agera in that it's very hard to handle. It's not like consistent, like the way you drive it, the way you handle it is just really weird. It's one of those cars, again, with Season 8 where if you put too much input, too much steering input, you're gonna lose the back end. It's just a strange car, but it gutters really well. It is extremely powerful. It reminds me a lot of the 993 back in Season 1 when 993 was just absolutely crazy, but This car, I'm gonna put it in the viable category for now. If it becomes the car that most of the sweats are using, and it's just like you had to get used to it and it takes a lot of skill to drive, we might have to consider it to be the meta. It is that close when it comes to the Ferrari F50 and GTO. Now, in the drift category, nothing has changed. It is the unicorn all day, every day. So let's move on to the racing category. Nothing has changed in racing either. We have the T50S as the top racing car, and it's really not even close. For special use, you can use a Gallardo Super Trofeo for highway routes. This is only highway, like seriously only highway. It really doesn't stay with the T50 in the cities or in the technical sections. Just doesn't have the acceleration to do it, but it does have a really good top speed. So highway only on that one. There's a handful of these viable cars, including the R8, which was added in Season 7, the F40, which got a little bit of a bump in Season 7, as well as the FXXK. So let's move on to Hypercar. Now in Hypercar, nothing really has changed. The Agera R is still the king, and it's the king in basically all scenarios. Now, as far as special use goes, we have two cars. The T50 is like special use. There's really no reason to use the T50, but in this season, we have a couple of routes where it's like Hypercar, and then I forget what the middle section is, but then it's Hypercar again. You end up having to use two Hypercars, and they got rid of the glitch that you could do where you could use the same Hypercar for both of those Hypercar sections. So they got rid of that ability, and so you have to use two Hypercars. And in that scenario, usually the T50 or the Jesco is going to be your option. I've got the T50 in there because I think it's like slightly faster than the Jesco, but it's really close, and I think it depends on your personal preference. Do you prefer to drive the T50 or the Jesco? That is up to you. Now, that being said, there is one actual special use car, which is the Noble M500. There are a lot of highway routes in this game, and when you have a highway route, you need a car with the top speed. M500 has the highest top speed in the game. It is like, I don't know, 311 miles an hour, I think, is the top speed. So you have to use the Noble M500. It's kind of a shame because the car handles like dog doo-doo, and I just don't really like driving it, but it does have the highest top speed. So it is a choice when you have a highway route. Now, aside from that, we do have a new addition with the Zenvo Aurora. The Aurora actually is really good. I don't consider it to be as good as the Jesco, but it's really close. It's like if the driving skill is kind of close, you can definitely use the Zenvo Aurora. So I don't know. That's a good one, man. That's sort of personal preference. It's not like elite, but it's certainly viable. And lastly, for the people who are struggling with car control, I do recommend the Cento 10. The Cento 10 is fast and it is stable, but it does understeer. So you're not going to be able to go as fast as some of the other cars in the class, but it's a very stable car. It's stable on the road. It's stable off the road. It is a good car for people who just struggle with car control. And this is no shame. Like, if you use the Cento 10, it's no shame. The Cento has a lot of the Escape World records, so it's not like it's a bad car. It's just not as competitive as the Agera. It's not as competitive as the Q50. It just isn't like an elite car. So don't have any shame with using it. It is a good car, but it's mostly seen as sort of like a newbie car. So if you're a newbie, I definitely recommend it. Like, definitely use it shame-free. Now, the remainder of the categories, which are Alpha GP, Motocross, Rally Raid, Rally, Monster, and Plane, all of those, the meta has basically been the same. It hasn't changed in a long time. However, in Season 8 specifically, there are a couple of routes that I think you should use one or the other when it comes to Motocross and Rally. So in Motocross, you're always using the YZ450F. That's the fastest bike. However, there's a route that goes across the water a couple of times. There's a couple of routes that you have to go across water. And when you do have those routes in Motocross, you need to use the Robbie Madison. Like, if you don't use the Robbie Madison, you're going to get gapped. The Robbie Madison is not terrible with top speed. It's not as fast as the YZ, but it's absolutely good enough to keep up in slipstream. And then when you hit the water section, you're going to leave those YZs behind. Like, you will break slip simply on a water section. So it's absolutely necessary to use in certain scenarios. You have to watch the route and see if it crosses water a couple of times. If you have a couple of water crossings, the Robbie Madison is the best way to go. Now, for Rally, I strongly recommend using the Countryman a little bit more than you have in the past. If you've been using the Peugeot, which is fine, Peugeot is good, it's the best in the class, the Countryman does really well for like routes that are meant for like Rally Raid. So like any route that is mostly off-road, that the Countryman is going to be the one. Now, I don't mean like on the dirt roads. That I consider a road, because in Rally specifically, you don't have the slowdown of being off-road when you're on a dirt road. The Rally cars go faster on the dirt roads than they do off the dirt roads. So the Countryman is really good off-road compared to the Peugeot. They both have similar speed, but the Countryman, for some reason, whatever it is, it can keep a higher pace on those off-road sections. So definitely use that. And I strongly recommend, if you're in manual with the Countryman, use the gear a little bit higher than what you're used to. It might sound like the car is bogging, but for example, if you're driving at like, I don't know, 140 miles an hour, 135, you should be in 6th. It has like a really weird, unnatural power band to it. So it actually has more power, like around 6,000 RPMs. So you want to keep it a little bit higher in the gears. Now, there is one car that I forgot to talk about while I was filming this video in the rally category. The Ogmios is actually really good. I have it here at the top of the viable category, but I actually think this car is almost as good as the Peugeot. Like, it's going to be a preference thing. Which car do you like driving better? Do you like driving the Ogmios better, or do you like driving the Peugeot? They're almost a pick-em situation. I still think the Peugeot outpaces the Ogmios when it comes to hairpins, so that's the reason why I keep it at the top, because it's the same pace everywhere else. But definitely the Ogmios is there. And outside of that, there's not really a lot that just changed in Season 8, and we're gonna get more cars as this update rolls out. So what I've done is I've created a spreadsheet that has the leaderboards for all of the cars that I've tested, and as we get new cars, they get added to that leaderboard once I've tested it. So you guys can go there. I've linked it in the description down below, but just keep in mind that this is a work in progress. There's a lot that needs to be done to this, but I've got it at a point where, like, I think it's, you know, okay for public use. It does not have all the categories on it yet, but it will eventually. You can save that for you. I'm going to mark all of the meta cars on that as well, so it'd be an easy place to sort of reference things. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you have any questions about this, you can send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. And once again, become a member so you can see these videos early. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.